sometimes the horizon is far, and it's far in the future, but I can kind of correct course as I go, as long as I'm moving forward. And so I'm not necessarily motivated to get up super early, and I don't wake up and the alarm goes off and it's like I'm up and like, let's go work out.
You're like, oh,
it's the result of that action will get me where I'm trying to go. And I apply that exact same thing to the business at all levels, and understanding, Jeff, if you do these things consistently, you will get this result.
You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast with Lindsay and Tim.
Welcome back to the Shoot Your Shot podcast, the community-driven podcast for photographers just like you. I'm Tim.
I'm Lindsay.
And today, we're sitting down with one of the most unique and inspiring people in the wedding industry, our pal, Jeff Maeck.
Jeff's story is wild. He went from working in a vehicle glass shop, amongst other things, to becoming one of the most sought-after wedding officiants in the world. Yes, the world. He set himself the goal of being one of the most sought-after officiants on the planet, not out of greed, but because he wanted to be that good and that in demand, and to prove what's possible when you take your craft very seriously. And he's pulled it off.
Now, Jeff's ceremonies take him across Canada and even to Italy and France. He's also the founder of the Togetherness Collective, a religious denomination he created to license and train officiants to build their own businesses, all while raising funds to build homes in Guatemala.
Outside of officiating, Jeff is a husband to Michelle Mack. Yeah, you probably know her. She's the babe that runs Mack Weddings. He's a dad to Quinn, a founder of the DTK Chapel and Elopers & Co. He's also a guy who lives what he preaches: discipline, consistency, and showing up daily to meet your big goals.
This episode is all about what it takes to go after the life and business you want, not by waiting for inspiration, but by putting in the work. Let's get into it. Jeff Maeck, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's up, friends? My goodness, that was quite the lovely introduction. Thank you so much.
Wow. Do you guys watch
what?
At New Heights, the podcast with the Kelsey brothers?
No.
So
yeah, the intro
they just had
right.
Taylor Swift on. So anybody who doesn't watch New Heights, you probably saw that episode. But anyways, they did the most insane introduction for her, and I felt like that's where we were going. He has 7 Grammy nominations, and he's won 9 Grammys.
Yeah.
That was a lot. Yeah, thank you guys. That was really kind.
Jeff, we love having you here. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a long time coming. I feel like this is a get we've wanted to get for a while. You know?
Honestly, he's just, we know he's very in demand, and we demanded that he come here.
And here I am. This is so good.
So we've worked together countless times. We have a little small company called Elopers & Co. Not to put the cart before the horse, but and we were going to shoot today for a little promo for that, but it started raining. This was always planned, but that was exciting.
Yeah.
Tell us how
the day turned around.
Let's start there. I feel like that's a really juicy and interesting part.
Tim, stop.
Why?
I have to stop you right there.
I want to get into the cool stuff.
Listen. Every time he does this, it's like he forgets. What do we do every week, everybody? We
roll
the magic 8 ball.
Lindsay, will you get it for me, Jeff?
Oh my gosh.
We roll the magic 8 ball. We don't have a higher power. We're godless.
You might have a god, but we have
don't.
the 8 ball.
So will you please, if you have a question for the 8 ball, give this thing a spin. Hopefully it tells you fortune, futures. Yes or no question, please.
A yes or no question. It can be philosophical. It can be big picture. It can be little picture. It can be any picture you want.
Medium-sized.
Have low expectations for the reading of it,
I
though.
have really high expectations at this point.
But let us know your question and then give it a little shake.
Yeah.
It's something I've been trying to think through.
Oh, okay.
Should I buy another pair of Crocs, or is Michelle
No.
right that I already have enough pairs? Guys, I just bought my 3rd pair. It's
No.
Shake it.
Yeah, don't.
I know you have a really big house,
You
but
have to
how big
ask
are your
while you shake
closets
it.
that you can have more than
Magic
3
8 ball,
pairs
let
of
me know.
Crocs?
Should I get another pair of Crocs?
It also takes like a couple years to
You
actually
gotta
show the
you
triangle.
gotta really
really want it.
I gotta really will this
to
into
really-
existence. Come on here, guys.
What color are the Crocs you have now?
Oh, what's that
Oh my
say?
gosh. What,
I know,
It does
right?
say
what is
something.
it? Does it?
It does say something. Let's see.
Give me a read here.
It says. My
Please
reply
tell me
is no. My
No.
reply is no.
Michelle
Okay,
sent
well,
that in. Okay.
You gotta wait for those to die, I guess.
to be fair, I did shake the magic 8 ball a second time, so it could have
I feel
said
like
yes
your
the first
collection
time,
is
but
probably enough.
no one needs that many Crocs. Never mind 1 pair, but
Jeff, did you wake up one day and just become an officiant? How did this start for you? What's the process from not from birth, let's say, but let's say from
Right, yeah.
working
Your origin
working a
story.
job and deciding one day, I'd like to try this officiating thing for a while. You've had a ton of jobs. We know this.
Yeah.
We know
yeah.
this.
Yeah, I've been working forever.
Yeah.
I've always loved. Honestly, I just love working.
Okay.
The grind.
So I've been working. Yeah, since I was 13 was my first job, and it was I don't think you're actually allowed to work in Ontario when you're 13, but
I think it's 14 now, isn't it? I don't know, who cares?
Either way,
I think you're allowed to work for family at 13.
Oh, really?
I don't know. That's what I always told myself because I worked at 13.
It was Wendy's, which is not.
Oh,
family.
that's not illegal. No, that's not legal.
Now, getting into officiating, so Michelle and I have been planning weddings for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And, you know, we had so many couples that were just kind of looking for something a little bit different for the ceremony. And I feel like that's a common thread for a lot of officiants. That's kind of why they got started.
Yeah.
We found with the clients that we were planning weddings for, this ceremony was a little bit of this thing where there's like, I just need like a dude or a lady to kind of say some words so we can get on to the next part. And for Michelle and I, our ceremony was actually really meaningful. We had a great friend of ours perform it, and I always assumed everyone had that experience for their ceremony, but it's just not
the case.
That's not the case.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
We have a lot of evidence to tell you the opposite,
Yeah,
unfortunately. Weekly, I feel like Tim and I are like, oh, we didn't have Jeff today.
Nope.
I just assumed that like kind of closeness and intimate feel was like what everyone kind of was striving for to
course.
deliver, and it wasn't the case. And I love being in front of a mic. I love speaking. I love telling stories. I love meeting new people. Seemed like a good fit. I was licensed in 2015, and after the first one, I was like, this is so fun, hilarious, like an absolute blast. And then from there, I was just figuring out, well, how do you do this all the time?
Yeah.
What does that look like?
How do you make this your day to day?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I need to go back though, because when you first started out, I was familiar with you working at a vehicle glass shop. I know that one for a fact because I got a massive rock in my windshield of my Jeep, and you were like, okay, we can replace this for you.
Yeah.
And on the side, you're also officiating weddings. So, I mean, Tim and I both had other jobs when we first started out in this career. And I think a lot of new photographers, it's mostly photographers that listen to this, by the way, obviously, shoot your shot. They think that like one day you're just going to make this decision, quit your full-time job, get out of the grind of the 9 to 5, and you're just going to do this. But like, that's not really realistic for most of us. Most of us need somebody to fund our ability to do this and like pay bills. Like you were a husband, you owned a home, like you had real responsibilities to your family and to your life to make sure that you're not taking an insane risk. Like it's a calculated risk, but not an insane one.
And I feel like when people start out in this industry and having like a steady Eddie kind of position in their life, whether that's like weekend job or like hopefully not weekend job, it's a weekend business, but like having something Monday to Friday, you know, to like kind of like pay the bills, it gives them this ability to build things slowly, intentionally in a way that like is sustainable and in a way that you feel is authentic to you and who you are and what you want to build, where it's not just like, I'll take any job I can do because I need the money and I don't have anything else. This is 100%. It, right? You make a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes that way. Just by like having a little bit of a nest egg, but not enough. Being like, okay, let's do every job I could possibly think of when I started out.
And it can take a long time to undo those mistakes, right? Especially in our business when we're booking clients a year plus in advance. If you don't have a dialed in approach to your starting out phase, you end up doing some really not awesome jobs for a little while. So, okay. So let's go back. I know vehicle glass was not exactly that wasn't your calling. And that was also a temporary, that was a short window.
Were the same. So previously to that, I was doing, for a long time I worked in the nutrition industry. And my role in the nutrition industry, my role in the glass, like by the way, I know nothing about auto glass, to be perfectly clear. Like I still know nothing about it. That wasn't really my job. More my job was to help them grow stores, hire new staff, train the staff, create a culture of good sales, good customer service, train managers. And I had done that previously as well for other franchises. And that was, so the idea of like giving an exceptional service is something that's like deep in my core is like, I value service so much. And so even when I get bad service here, it like irks me to my soul when I say you don't realize how this affects the bottom line by giving bad service. And it's, so that's an entirely separate
We'll not get into that. We'll do another episode about
like
bad service.
I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm plus oneing this, like, because
I co-sign.
But I get into like, I become a Karen in my own mind, and I try to not be that person of like, are you for real? But like, even just last week, I'm on the customer service with Sephora, and I'm like, you're not looking at I'm like, can you look at my account and see the tens of thousands of dollars I spent with you, and you're willing to lose this account over a $40 shampoo that you're not willing to refund? Like crazy. But this is what happens in all customer service aspects. If it falls apart, you ruin your company over it. I think Sephora is going to do okay whether I'm there or not, but you have taken the learning and trained other companies, right? And also now built your own based on it.
And based around the idea of you want to give an exceptional service, and it's not just from the day of, it's not just that, you know, kind of half-hour ceremony space. It's from the second they reach out to you all the way to the very end, ceremony's done, you've said goodbye, and you've sent them a follow-up email to say, guys, thank you so much for letting me kind of be a part of this and sharing this day
You
with
are so good at that. I've learned
Yeah.
a lot from you in your emails, just that like I'm CC'd on with Elopers and Co. Actually, like I've learned a lot from the effort
Customer
that you put
journey.
forward.
Yes.
Yeah, and it is the customer journey, and I obsess over how do I create a positive experience that every email they get from me elicits a response of excitement. Hey, Jeff's emailing me, not what's the freaking buzzkill?
This
What's
guy
want?
again.
Like, I want every email to be excited, so the tone of all my emails and my communication is always extremely excited because
it's-
I am excited.
'Cause you are
I'm
genuinely
genuinely
excited.
And I will say, I've seen a few of them. It's very down to earth. You have I don't know if you still have the GIF of Brad Pitt from like a Coen Brothers movie, like raising the roof with headphones on. Like it's just
Okay,
like,
that's
that's badass. That's dope. Like that's someone I want to hang out with.
I want to know how you put a
sends
GIF in an
memes.
email and not get your email blocked. That's amazing.
GIFs?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you use
How you putting a GIF in an
How
email?
are you putting GIFs in emails, Jeff?
Let us know.
It's like an insider. It's not.
Oh, I get it.
around, go to
I
the
get
Patreon.
it. Not
I'll
good
tell you
enough for the
everything.
Shoot Your Shot podcast. That's fine.
So I used Dubsado to manage the customer journey on
Okay.
that. And so I've spent way more time than I'm ever willing to admit finding out the best possible gifts that match.
You're a CRM
me
boy.
And match everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything's through the CRM. And the amount of responses I get back from people to those emails it validates for me that was time well spent.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
people love getting those emails, and for some reason, I'm still the only person like in the officiating space, I think that really puts that level of detail
Yeah.
into it, and so it immediately sets me apart, which is again an
You're
easy way
trying
to
harder
separate.
in
I'm
every
trying
aspect.
very
And your
hard in every
goal
way.
is like from the second that they hear about me, whether that be through word of mouth or I officiated a friend's wedding or they saw a silly reel I put together, whatever the finding you is, the funnel is authentically you. That's what I would say it always is. It's
Yeah.
like you try hard at every single aspect of your brand from the second that they find you
And it's full chest.
to you delivering a ceremony, to you following up afterwards and making sure they know how to, apply for whatever their record of I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I've only been doing weddings for 10 plus years, but all of your
it is
communications
true.
is putting
There's-
effort forward.
and
There's no
consistency
level of it that
across
sucks.
everything.
That's what I can tell.
Yeah.
It's the same level of consistency. It's the same copy. It's the same tone. And so it doesn't matter the medium that they're reading or they find me in. And then when they jump on a call, they're like, you are the same dude everywhere.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much easier for me to have conversations with the couple
Yeah.
because they feel like they already know me. It's not like they read the copy on the website, they were inspired, we jump on a call and like, well, this is
They're
not
trying to
the
connect
same.
dots. And
This
they're not
guy
there.
is so vanilla in
Yeah.
comparison to like he got somebody exceptional to write his copy.
Yes. Why do you think? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, and like you kind of are in the hot seat here, Jeff.
This
Welcome
is
to
the
the show
hot
again.
seat.
We're literally putting you on the spot. We've got an actual
spotlight on you.
spotlight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're not already tuned in on YouTube, you should go check us out there. But
Honestly, this is one you want to watch because Jeff's very handsome.
he's a very handsome boy. And we're also not
He's like
Jeff's
God.
very tan. It's not a color balance issue. We did our best. It's just the
I
skin
didn't
tones.
know
But
that.
just unfortunately, we don't have a
Man,
pool.
I'm really tan. I'm really tan.
I asked him before
Sweden.
this, you using sunscreen?
Yeah.
No, your skin looks great.
You mentioned a few times that you feel like the industry for wedding officiants is like kind of behind the times a little bit, in that not everyone's putting this effort into communicating with their clients from the jump, from like first inquiry to like, congratulations, here's the documentation you need. Why do you think that is? And not to put you on the spot, but why do you think, and maybe it's true for every industry, but why do you think that like no one else until you started putting this much effort into contacting people through the officiating realm of things when it comes to the wedding industry?
I think it's consistent across the board regardless of the industry.
Okay.
I think what I've learned the longer I do this is that most people aren't willing to do the work.
Yeah.
Most people say they will, and then when it comes down to, well, these are the steps, they just won't do it. Yeah. And I obsess over the work. I love the work. I put it in every day. I'm obsessed with like tweaking things and making them better and figuring out, okay, that was really good. How do I make it exceptional? Like, how do I continue to dial it in that last kind of couple percent? And I think in officiating in particular, I won't kind of paint too broadly and say that people don't do it well, but I think a lot of people don't perceive officiating as an option to be a full-time job.
Right.
Okay.
And their pricing certainly reflects that, and maybe their willingness to put more time into it. And I remember, well, I was still doing the glass job, and I had a mentor of mine who was always checking in and always trying to encourage me to turn the page on it and say, dude, you got a really good thing going here. You don't need to do this. And I remember a conversation where he said, are you telling me that if you left here of the 40 hours or so per week that you're doing and you put that into your business, you tell me you couldn't make the same amount of money on top of it? He's like, dude, leave this job. You'll 100% do it. And that was the encouragement.
I can
to,
make
like,
some
obsess over
guesses
those
about
details.
like the financial upside that you have seen that is probably well outranked the glass shop. But let's maybe go back to that time, because I remember those conversations with you like very, very well, where you and I had a conversation about the money. And it kind of reminds me of how another photographer, and I've talked about this a number of times, brought up my family pricing and was like, why is your family pricing so low? You know, you're only charging a couple $100 and your weddings are thousands. And for me, it was like, I wasn't willing to put in the effort required at that point to make my family packages worth the same as what I felt like my wedding packages were worth. And I think that's what a lot of officiants do. So at the time, a lot of officiants were only charging like a couple $100 for a ceremony.
Right, yeah.
So no one wants to put in that kind of an effort for a couple $100. Fortunately, sometimes you have to put that effort in to be the guy that's going to do 500 and then 600 and whatever. And you and I had I feel like it was a phone call or something where you said, do you think there's a market for somebody to charge more than this? Because everybody in our area was not. And I was like, well, I wouldn't have thought there was a market for us to charge $5,000 for a wedding photography day, but there is. So I think if you are doing a more exceptional thing, then you get to charge a more exceptional rate. And I imagine those two things aligned for you. But was it scary for you doing the pricing and trying to figure out I believe it to be true. I think you're probably the most expensive officiant that exists that I'm aware of. And I don't think that's a good thing, a bad thing. It just, it is and is.
Yeah.
It aligns
It is
with,
and is.
it aligns with,
And so it is.
it is, and so it is. This is a podcast that people listen to, and I say words. It is. You offer a service that's so exceptional that you can make the market price it. You can price it wherever you want within the market, is what I believe. But was that scary for you? Being like, I'm going to step outside of what everybody else, including the people who hired me, including the people I worked, within the same officiant realm with. Was that terrifying?
I remember that conversation. Actually.
Do you?
I forgot about that and the reason I remember as you were describing that, I talked to Michelle about it. She's more conservative on things, and I like to push the envelope a little bit. And so I called you about it and say, well, what do you think?
You were like, Lindsay's going to come onto my side. I'm like firing you up.
You said, it was literally like just do it and see what happens type response. And I was like, oh yeah, like worst case
I could
scenario,
just try that.
I just move the price back. Like there's no downside to it.
This is what I tell everybody. I'm like, if you're booking every single thing, I feel like, honestly, I'm gonna start taking a cut. Tim's charging more, Taylor's charging more, you're charging more. I'm just gonna say I want 5%. It's not a big deal. 5% of whatever the increase is on whatever stupid amount you were charging to whatever it is now. That's all I'm asking for. But there's no greater feeling than telling your friends, you should just give it a little shot and see what happens. Because you can go back, especially in the wedding industry. The people that are shopping for an officiant now are not shopping for one in 8 months.
No idea
So they have no idea where you were. The only thing that they will know is like, oh, my friends maybe paid $400 for that guy. So it makes sense that a few years later, or a year later, he's going to probably charge more.
A little bit more. Yeah.
But I like that you remembered it, because honestly, I take a lot of credit for that. But you worked your ass off, so I felt like you can do whatever you want. Like if you hadn't, I wouldn't have told you to do that. If I felt like you were offering the same level of service, I wouldn't have told you go for it. I'd be like, well, you know what, maybe we should try a little harder on the script writing or something before we get there.
Well, I think the funny thing that most, and I guess I'll speak just about officiants in general, is they don't realize that if you charge more, I've got a whole bunch of like pricing philosophies and ideas on pricing, but one of them too is that this concept, I mean, I think for sure the most influential book I read in business was Blue Ocean Strategy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Oh, no.
It talks about just how everyone competes in this hyper red pool of price, and if you can exist in this blue ocean where you create your own price, that my pricing is so much more expensive that people look at it and say, well, this is a different category.
What's
like,
even
there's something
doing?
else going on over here, and that's more interesting, and which is very strange. It's way less competitive because nobody else charges the same, and by charging a higher rate, everybody's winning. The client gets a much better experience because now I do this. This is all I do, and so I get to focus 100% on your ceremony. I'm not doing all sorts of other random jobs to like make ends meet, and then like on the weekend, hopefully I have enough time and energy to do this thing.
Of course, yeah.
This is all I'm doing. So all I think about that week is I've got to get myself set, prepared for the ceremony. So they win in that way. I win because I get to do this full time, and it's a good scenario. And I love charging more because when I look at the invoice and it's expensive, I literally say, Jeff, you had better be good. Like you had better be.
You hold yourself to a standard, 100%.
And you should. It's enough to push me and say, dude, you better knock this out of the park because you charge them X amount.
Yeah.
So go and be great. And that's a good motivation for me to say, awesome, like let's nail this thing.
Honestly, I feel the same way. Whenever somebody's really trying to get a good deal from me, my thinking is often, you don't want that version of me, because that version of me is going to show up resentful, angry, feeling like I did not get paid enough for the amount of effort and skill set and everything that I'm going to bring to this day. So I'm going to try. You want 30% discount, I'm going to try like 40% less hard.
Yeah.
It's never going to be.
That?
You don't want that. You want the amount that I told you it's worth. That's truly what I believe. I didn't pull this number out of the air and think, I'm going to charge that today.
Yeah.
It's what I truly believe this service is worth, but I really appreciate that.
And that's built over time of you understanding yourself and what you bring to the table and what like value you have to the industry.
Did you have, like, in the early days, a switching from that mid-range pricing into a higher level? Did you get pushback? Like, did you get people saying, that's extreme? Or did you have those conversations with people?
I think one of the main drivers that's helped is, I mean, if you have a high price without much credibility, there's a mismatch. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So they might say, well, you're really expensive, but I don't see any like peripheral things that would justify it. But over time, we've been able to build a brand. We're preferred at all the venues around here. Now people know that I exist.
There's a lot of social proof.
There's a lot of social proof. And so when they see the price and they see everything around it, they say, well, this makes sense. Like everyone I've asked knows this guy or has a positive thing to say. And that's, again, a reputation takes forever to build. And so I obsess over that as well, of protecting that and doing a good job with it. So in the beginning stages, there was pushback on pricing. And then it was kind of navigating it and saying, look, I'm not going to retreat from it, because I think for me to produce the best product, I need to be able to do this full time. And by freeing up more of my time and not working, now I can like iterate different versions of ceremonies. I can be more creative. I can come up with fun things, and the client's
you have more
winning
time.
in that
And
case. Like,
you know what's an interesting thing for you as an officiant? A lot of it is your presentation of how you show up. And I've seen a wide spectrum of how officiants will show up.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's favorite term is looking like an unmade bed. And it's one of my favorite things to describe somebody. But you can absolutely picture like this person rolled in, actually looking like how my hair is right now, because we got rained on.
You got rained on.
it looks great. I love it.
Jeff's the only one who's looking fantastic.
Like, Jeff looks fresh as hell, and I look like literally an unmade bed.
I look like an unmade bed.
But the way in which, you know that saying, like, the way that you do anything is the way that you do everything.
Yeah.
And it's not like I try to show up to weddings looking like, I walked out of a Holt Renfrew ad or anything like that. But when people see me, I want their first thought to be, wow, she must be really exceptional at her job. People say to us all the time at a wedding day, you guys are doing a great job. And I'm like, you have no idea what kind of you actually have literally no idea how I am doing. But you do have a presence that makes people feel like, oh, he must be incredibly professional.
He walks tall.
Because you show up looking very fresh. You've got a tuxedo on. Like you're looking really, really good. You've got a custom made suit on. Sometimes your suits, honestly, are more polished than the groom. Not often.
What's that like? Does that ever get embarrassing for him?
Do you ask?
I do get into some very funny conversations with guys.
Okay.
I mean, if we're being honest, I've lost jobs from people where the groom's like, we're not hiring that guy.
Too handsome.
Because they don't want. And that's actually what the bride will tell me. They're like, we wanted to go with you, but the dude I'm marrying was like,
he didn't want to stand up beside you. Yeah.
And it's funny. It's a very funny thing.
What a great problem.
Oh, she looks way too handsome.
Yeah, it comes across really like rude, but at the same time, it's very funny.
I think
right?
it's
very
probably
funny.
it's
hilarious.
It's an issue them, not an issue.
Yeah, truly.
It's that they have probably some level of insecurity where they're they're not able to present themselves in a way that they are going to feel really confident standing up next to you, and I can maybe understand that, but. I think the takeaway for photographers is the way that you show up, the type of camera bag that we carry, the jacket that you choose to put on, the shoes that you choose to put on your feet, all of that is painting a picture of your reputation. And all of that feeds back into, do I deserve to charge this amount of money? It's not just what we offer people as a finished product, because your ceremonies are exceptional. But what most people see online is a photo of you at the front with a couple looking really great and like you're not wearing a purple tie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have had officiants wear bright red ties, like purple ties, colored shirts. I'm like, no, look around you. Look at what we're up to out here. And I'm now having, like, I have eyes and I am seeing this, and it just seems like they're not understanding that officiating a ceremony is so much more than just providing a really great experience as far as the words that you're saying, but also how you show up. And maybe part of this goes back to your days and nutrition and fitness and all of that, because you're still keeping up on all of this and those goals. And I feel like, and getting somewhere, I promise, there's an intersection
hand motions.
between the way that you show up for yourself in your personal life and the effort that you put forward in waking up super early and exercising and taking care of your physical presence. Your hair always looks good. You know, you've got a good shave on, whatever. All of these things are. I'm not just saying this pump your tires, but I am going to. But then that crossover of the effort and the discipline that you give yourself shows up in your business every single day.
Yeah.
And do you think that's where, because you're saying, well, my difference is I just try harder. Well, lots of people try. What's the difference? What makes you feel like, okay, well, lots of people, I don't know, it's just they're lacking motivation, they're lacking inspiration, or what do you feel like is lacking for people that are like, well, I've been trying?
I think part of that is just their aim. I think people try to do too many things, and I mean, whether it's photographer, videographer, I mean, it doesn't really matter. My goal was to be really great at one thing. I wanted to be an exceptional at doing officiating first before I decided to do all these other things. Like, I mean, I think it's a steam whistle thing where it's like do one thing really well.
Yeah.
And like to me, that was, I have kind of obsessed over that forever, thinking, man, you should be incredibly good and known for this thing before you even consider offering other things. And most people offer like 50 different things. I'm like, well, how could you possibly be good at any of those?
There's photographers that literally start mentorship in their second year in business.
Yeah.
And I'm like, baby, the audacity is so incredible in you. Like, get really good at selling a service to your clients first before being like, I've done it once. I've done
I know
it
how to do it. It's
one
fine.
year I did it. And now it's great.
For
It's
sure.
like, but then you have sort of, you know, muddied the waters, but you got really good at this one thing, like
Well, I
probably
really-
even further into it than you
Yeah.
needed to before starting DTK Chapel,
Yeah.
starting Togetherness Collective, starting Elopers & Co. Like
Yeah.
those are all avenues you got to because you achieved the lower level of the Maslow's hierarchy.
Well, I really want to like get hyper focused and dialed in on this is the brand, this is
Yes.
the image, this is what we're producing, this is what couples can expect, and so it's consistent always. And
Yeah.
so part of that is the look. And in younger, less like grizzled, less gray days, like I used to model, and I started to understand
Stop.
but I learned a lot through it, like understanding how you present yourself is extremely important from the very first impression you give people. When I show up to a wedding and there's 100 guests, or I'm meeting the parents, or
Yeah.
I'm meeting people, if I can present myself in a way that is really pleasant, really friendly, and really well put together, it immediately changes the experience for them, for me.
Totally.
And
People are really scared of ceremonies, right? Like we see it a lot with family members that come up to us like, you know, what are we
Where do
going
I
to
sit?
expect?
Like,
Or where
in
do
the
I
chair.
go? Or how do
chair for you.
how do I link my arm between here?
Yeah.
And for me,
do I walk?
there's a disconnect between
feet.
either the ceremony, like they didn't have a great rehearsal, or they don't have
bad juju, bad experience from a previous wedding.
Maybe
like
they
someone
don't
fell.
have a really
Yeah.
strong concierge or
Yeah.
planner that's there to guide
Mack
them
Weddings
through
wasn't
the
there that day.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
didn't have somebody to walk them through those things. So they're going to the last line of defense, which is the photographer, who's
Yeah.
the last person they see before they're about to walk through the door. And I'm like, so just walk slow and smile, and they're going to guide you through it,
Yeah.
right? But I
Yeah.
think if you show up looking really polished, you've got a microphone in your hand, you've got your tablet with their script, you're like, we're ready
You
to
have
go
confidence
here.
in your face and your eyes, and you're just ready to go.
You're like, I have literally everything that you could possibly need here.
Yeah.
So then they can breathe. That's probably huge for your clients.
But I also frame what I offer as not, I'm a dude that will come in and do the ceremony, to the ceremony space, that's mine. Like,
Yes.
that's my domain.
Yeah.
I own all of it from the second I get there to when I leave. Just know that I know all the details. I don't want you to think about them.
yeah.
And that changes it changes quite a bit, actually, because now they're leaning on me versus wondering, like, well, I hope this thing goes well. I'm like, well, of course it is. I know all the details.
I know what's going on.
You
And if
just,
it
like-
doesn't go well, I screwed something up here.
Yeah, it's
And
my
that's how
fault.
I feel about
Yeah.
wedding photos too. When people are stressed about their list or anything, and I'm like, oh, well, none of that really matters because weeks in advance I've gone over this. Weeks in advance I've created you a custom photo list. Weeks in advance we've gone over the timeline. Like, if at some point you're feeling a lack of confidence in it, I've done something wrong here.
Yeah.
And that's the difference in hiring an okay vendor of a wedding vendor and an exceptional wedding vendor, because you own that space. You own from, the time people walk in the door until they leave. That's yours.
Yeah, I'm not kind of like an add-on to the thing. It's like, this is my thing. I'm producing the entire thing. And so I really try to control it all. I want all the variables to be mine. I want to know all the details. And then that way, I always think of this old Kanye song where he's just over and over, just like, you worry about the wrong thing. I actually think about that really often in weddings. Couples think about they worry about the wrong things. I'm like, you should not be worrying about how to walk in. How long have you been walking? Like 30-something years? Just freaking do that. Like, just walk normal.
That's okay.
Don't worry about that. That's not a thing to worry about.
And the thing that you're not worried about is the thing you should be worried about. It's actually so funny. I don't want to tell people. I'm like, there's actually so many other things you should be concerned about. This isn't it.
Hold the rope. I will leave us all there. Like, just follow my lead.
Literally like a daycare.
I love that visual of Jeff with, and
that's what I tell him. Like, and then that instantly helps them kind of like sigh, like relief, and they're like, oh, okay.
He's gonna walk in, and I'm gonna walk in 6 feet behind him, and that's gonna be good.
Yeah, and that's, I find that to be a way better approach for couples too. They get to experience getting married. I always talk about the idea of, I want you to experience that moment versus thinking, Jeff said I'm supposed to like do a thing at a certain point. What am I saying? I'm like, dude, don't think about that stuff. I know that. I will always lead you into that.
You don't even like give them a chance to think about where they stand. Once they get to the front, you move that guy out of the way and like get to the spot, and then you take your time. Like, it's very well thought out, very well, like you said, you own the space. Speaking of owning the space, we're going to talk about how you own your own church, essentially, which is pretty interesting. You're the pope of your own church.
Damn.
Right after this commercial break, we'll be right back with Jeff Maeck. A quick ad about Imagine AI. If you are struggling with your editing consistency and getting things out the door quickly for your clients, click the link below. You can get 1,500 free edits. That's basically a free wedding.
Hell yeah, that's
Using
like 2 weddings if you're not a sloppy color.
If you're not a loser. Click the link below. You can learn all about Imagine, how it can help you streamline your editing process, create consistent edits across your entire gallery, and make your clients happier.
10-4.
Welcome back to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. Buy that product or service. It supports the show.
That one.
Yeah, that specific one.
To buy it after watching that.
Jeff, do you have a Pope hat? What's the deal, man?
A Pope hat?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't,
a hat for the Pope.
Oh, a Pope hat.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about like the S tier list again or something. Just another thing that I have no idea.
No. There's no internet meme
Is that
here.
a real thing?
The Pope wears a hat. Does he not have a Pope hat? It's very unique to him.
Like that tall white thing he goes on the head.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But no, I don't.
Okay.
That's a good question. No,
okay,
I do not have
great.
So in my phone, Jeff is listed as the chaplain.
Yes.
And the reason for that is because sitting in front of you today is not just Jeff Maeck, the officiant. This is Jeff Maeck, the chaplain. He has his own religious denomination where he is able to license and train officiants to do their own wedding ceremonies and run their own businesses, which is very cool that you are like an MLM with God. So he's like Lindsay, I'm gonna get unlicensed after this. No.
How many people in your downstream?
Okay, so let's go back. We're not being mean. So let's go back.
Okay.
So Jeff has Mack weddings that he runs with Michelle, and through that, there's planning and then officiating, and that's your bread and butter. That's where you started.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you were like, hey, it'd be so cool. I'm gonna buy this chapel at the Kitchener City Hall, and I'm gonna make it cool instead of a funeral home. And so then you did that, and now there's like hundreds of ceremonies, if thousands probably,
dozens a week.
Year,
yeah, it's wild.
Right? It's insane. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing that, and then you thought to yourself, it'd be so cool. I'm gonna help other officiants get licensed to run their own businesses, and that's the Togetherness Collective. And through that, you build homes in Guatemala. That's pretty chill. Tell us more about that.
Without getting into too much of the
policy.
The policy. It's a registered religious charity and a religious denomination in the province of Ontario. So,
got it.
It's very cool. It's very, very cool.
It's very cool.
It took, as you know,
a long time.
Took years.
Literal
years of work. And it's work that I've always kind of been involved in. And it was basically saying, hey, all this stuff we're doing, all the ministry, all the teaching, all the resources, everything that we've compiled and I have been doing for, almost 20 years, I guess. Wow. We should get this recognized by the province of Ontario because we're doing all this stuff. And that process took forever. But one of the great parts about it is we're building this community of officiants. We have over 100 people that we've licensed and that we train and mentor and that are out there doing amazing ceremonies for couples, which is part of part of my goal to be able to figure out how do you scale impact, and that's by training other people to give great experiences.
I can't think of a better person to do it too. Like of all the people who could have done their own denomination and start training people to be officiants, like I'm glad it's you, man. I really am. I'm not just saying that to butter your bread. I mean, like
100%.
Someone who's forward thinking, someone who looks at the industry and is like, we can do better, guys. Let's try harder.
We can do better, and we can also increase our impact, right? As a whole, as a Togetherness Collective.
Yes.
Like, you have made such a huge impact in building homes for people in Guatemala through this work, which is really, I feel like probably you were only able to really achieve that because it is a religious denomination. Am I correct in that? Like, this, it would have been a real struggle to grassroots this thing on your own without the recognition from the province.
Yeah. It was really figuring out, how do I... there's a lot of things that I love, a lot of things I'm passionate about. How do I kind of bring them all together? And that's what we've been doing with the chapel, with Mack Weddings, with the Lopers & Co., with the denomination. And so they all kind of like intersect. They all cross. They're not on their own island. They all are kind of the same thing. And one of the cool things about it was that about 15 years ago, and the first time that I went to Guatemala, I had a kind of a moment of, man, I want to fund homes in Guatemala. I met some people doing it, and I thought it was really cool. And as a young person, you kind of have no idea what you're... I'm like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Like, I would just love to be able to do it as a life goal. And
go get some cinder blocks and put something together. You know?
And the denomination became the vehicle for us to be able to fund homes every year. And now, as we grow, we can continue to fund more homes. We go down there, we meet the families, we spend time with them. They build a home alongside of us. It's a really
You put together some really exceptional content through doing that as well, which allows you to then continue funding it, right? You know, you'll go there and make videos with people and show the impact, which I think is really, I mean, we're in a photo video medium, so we're rather biased on this, but I think when you're asking people, hey, it's Christmas, you know, if you're looking to give towards something, it would be really cool if you could help give towards this project, but they need to see like
what it looked like.
There's a reason why World Vision has been so successful, right? Their content, their video footage that they put together, it hits you right in the
black
heart.
And white.
And you're like, I remember I was like
Sarah
14
McLachlan.
years old, and I was like, I was raising money for World Vision as a kid because I was like, I'm like fully in, I'm bought into this. And I love that you've been able to take your impact as like this really exceptional business owner and turn it into something that's philanthropic, that's truly impacting people's like whole lives. And it's probably an understatement of what it is. Like, you're literally changing people's lives by giving them a proper home with a real roof over their heads instead of this like shoddy put together thing they've got, you know, in
Right. I think that's kind of always been the goal. In my younger days, I was always involved in ministry, always kind of doing things in that regard. And I wanted to figure out how to do that full time. And then as you get married, you have a kid, you got to figure out, well, how do I provide first for my own family? And that was part of building the business and getting things going that I can now return and allocate more of my time to the denomination and to the charity and figure out, okay, well, how do we now maximize this impact? Because we've got this great thing going. I want to spend more time figuring out, well, how do we serve more people? How do we build more homes? And to be able to show videos of like, hey, when you give, this is actually the family. Like, I know the family. I'm going to see them again. I'm going to spend time with them. Here's a video of them. When I'm in Guatemala, I send people videos on site. Like, it's pretty wild to, I mean, you could be in the middle of nowhere, you could be in the jungle and send a video message to somebody, be like, look, I'm hanging out with the family. Like, this is the home that you're helping fund, and this is the kids.
So cool.
And it's like pretty unbelievable. But it just connects people, and they feel like, wow, this is like the thing that I gave to, I'm actually seeing what it's doing. Like, I get to witness it being built. And
not to go too far off the beaten path on this, because I digress constantly. But I have had many thoughts about this over the years, because what we do, obviously, we work in a luxury space.
Yes.
We are seeing outlandish shit every single weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You know, $40,000, $50,000 floral budgets has somehow become a norm. Like, I mean a norm. Right. My parents were guests at a wedding that we did on the weekend, and it was exceptional. It was extravagant. It was beautiful. And my mom was like, you know, we don't go to a lot of weddings, but like, is this like what you are used to? Like, is this what you are used to? Because like the weddings that you go to maybe are not the thing, like in the space we are in, we have really started to see a different percentage of how people are living.
Yes.
And it does become, it starts to become a weird thing for your brain, where you start to think, is this what the whole world is like, right? You start to think, oh, everybody can just afford $40,000, $50,000 floral budgets, and that's a totally normal thing. So I started volunteering at essentially like a soup kitchen right around the corner from your office downtown, and that has really helped remind me of like what the community is like. But I did have a conversation, this is years ago, where somebody said to me, like, you know, you could really take your skill set and your energy and put it towards something that is more meaningful than just charging people, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars for weddings, and basically was shitting on the wedding industry. My feeling on that, it sounds like you're on the same page of, so I could go and work for a church or a charity, and I could make $50,000, $60,000 a year, and I would burn out, and I would not be able to do good work or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I could create something with such a big impact that I'm able to give more than that in donations every single year because I have this maybe seemingly not super philanthropic job, but it allows you the energy. And is that sort of where you're thinking is like, okay, in doing this and in providing for myself and my family, I'm able to then provide, like, you're maximizing your impact so much more so than you would if you just worked in a ministry.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is you need both. You need people willing to do the work, and they work incredibly hard. They put in, they commit their entire lives to it. Our partners in Guatemala, it's 24 hours a day, it's nonstop. They host teams, the stuff they deal with is insanely high on the emotional scale too, because you're dealing with so much trauma and death and loss, and it's very it's exhausting for them. And then you need people on the other end who have businesses that can support that work too. You can't have one without the other. And so I always thought that I would be the guy on the ground because that's what I did for a long time. And then as we kind of shifted gears a little bit, I found that I could actually be better used by supporting it through financial means. And that's part of the driver as well. And I think the goal ultimately, as we were building this thing out, was to say, okay, look, we're marrying hundreds of couples per year who maybe have never done a thing overseas or in a different place. And I would love to lead teams back there with the couples that I've married and say, hey, like, this is, I think, going to be good for your marriage. I mean, this is difficult work. It's exhausting. It's emotionally exhausting, and it's not comfortable whatsoever. But this is how a lot of people are living, and this is the reality of it. And I would love to kind of be able to have that impact where I've shared the biggest day of their life and then shared in something with them for a week.
Significant
really fun,
day of their life, yeah.
And then, I mean, you go there and you think, okay, I'm helping change someone's life by building a house. But ultimately, you come home and you're like, man, I'm way different now. Like, I'm changed so much.
Who saved who?
Yeah.
And I think that's the attitude that I want people to bring back here, and it helps them kind of reevaluate, man, like, that was a wild experience that changed everything. And I had that experience forever ago, and it did quite literally change.
It has changed the trajectory of your life.
It's changed everything.
Yeah. Okay, well, then comes my question.
Let's hear it.
How in the world are you doing all of these things? Because, like, okay, this is my awareness.
Let's count them off.
I have Jeff on my Apple Watch. Okay, he got an Apple Watch recently, and I'm on it. I was pissed about it because I didn't want to know what time this guy's waking up. I didn't want to know how many calories he's burnt before I've had my first coffee, but I do now know. So you're waking up at like the butt crack of dawn. You get a good workout in. Trust me, I see it. And then, you know, you're taking Quinny to school. You're so involved in your family and in your personal life. Even if you took that whole aspect out, I still wouldn't quite understand how you have the energy to work out, to eat like super clean and have like a really like solid base behind your whole health. Then
run the chapel 7 days a week.
Where there are thousands of ceremonies going down, whether it's you doing them or other people doing them. I know your accountant told you should stop doing them. We agree. It's time.
He's still there on Thursdays.
He's still there officiating ceremonies at a chapel downtown Kitchener, if you ever want. And then he also is doing hundreds of weddings every single year that are like your whole heart is going into them, where you're creating custom ceremony scripts for every single client. You're doing the top to bottom customer service we've already talked about. Then you've got Elopers & Co., which is no small feat. Our most recent elopement, I think, was like 6 people's full-time jobs, but just Jeff was doing it. You run the Togetherness Collective. You're building homes for people in Guatemala. You're taking Spanish lessons.
You co-run Mack weddings with Michelle. You help her and sister with all the things.
Somehow you still have this impeccable tan from sunning yourself. So I'm just trying to figure out, where is the inspiration?
I'm over here burning eggs in the morning. I'm like, cool, great.
Oh, good.
Jeff's already done like 2,000 reps.
Are you filled with motivation every single morning? Do you wake up and you watch and you listen to, like, I don't know, some crazy podcast that's just like, Jeff, wake up, wind sprints, let's go. Like, are
at me.
you inhaling motivational content like it's your job, or what is your drive? Where's your drive coming from? And is it sellable in a bottle?
And can we bottle it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real product. We should figure that one out. It's a really good question. Part of it comes down to having exceptional support from you guys, from teams, from the people at the chapel, from staff. Like, I've really looked at, I need to free up my time so that my time is used for the most impactful levers throughout the business, and not every single decision at all levels all the time. That's been a huge part of it. And the other part is, I think, again, I talk a bunch about fitness on Instagram, and it's not because I'm a dude that's so into the fitness world, although I really enjoy it, and I guess I kind of am.
You're very involved. He's like not doing like, fitness shows or anything. Like, you're not like up there on a stage in a Speedo. If you are, we're coming to cheer you on. But
Hey man, let us know.
we're going to be cheering you on, number one fans. I'm not suggesting you shouldn't do that, but that's not what you're doing. But you are getting jacked with this like a seemingly insatiable drive all on your own.
Right. And I think what training has really taught me, like, there's so much I've learned from competitive sports and training specifically that is applicable to business that, I mean, there's a direct link to it. And so much of it with training, with working out, is if I want this result, you need to do this amount of work over this amount of time, and you will get this result. Business,
it's like inevitable.
It's inevitable. This is the conclusion. We know we're going to get there. You just have to put in the work and do these things. And business is the exact same way. It's, hey, I'm trying to get here, and most people aren't willing to do the work long enough, aimed at the right thing long enough.
Aimed at the right thing, yeah.
That they give up, or they don't see results in enough time. And for me, I already know that sometimes the horizon is far, and it's far in the future, but I can kind of correct course as I go. As long as I'm moving forward, we're going in the right direction. I can kind of dial it a certain direction. And so I'm not necessarily motivated to get up super early, and I don't wake up and the alarm goes off and it's like I'm up and like, let's go work out.
You're like, okay, everybody.
But I do know that the result of that action will get me where I'm trying to go. And I apply that exact same thing to the business at all levels, and understanding, Jeff, if you do these things consistently, you will get this result. And
Who's saying that? Who says, Jeff, do these things consistently? Where did you get this idea from? I know it works, obviously. I mean, look at you.
I think
like,
it's from just doing it.
Okay.
And
you did it one time of getting really fit when you were a model, and you were like, okay,
I've done it with sports and said, hey, if you repeat this action enough times, you will get this result. Okay, cool. So what if it transfers over into business? Okay, it does transfer over there. What if it transfers over? And like that same principle.
You just test it out.
It's just the same everywhere. But my experience is most people are just not willing to do the work and do it long enough and be consistent. And I see it all the time where none of it, I think, what surprised me most is everything takes longer than you think it will.
Yeah.
And you do a thing and you expect success right away, and it's just, that's not how it's going to work. I mean, there's a very tiny fraction of the population who will just all of a sudden
excels immediately.
That's not everyone. You need to do all the work first to enjoy on the other end. And I feel like I'm just starting to get on the other end from putting in the work. And training has been great, and I'm more just disciplined with what I do. We were talking earlier about we're more productive if we have a lot more on the go.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
incredibly productive when I have a billion things to do, and I don't mind working from the second I wake up, which is very early, to when I go to bed, which is very late. And I still carve out all the time to spend with Quinn, because ultimately that's like the most important thing, is spending time with Michelle and Quinn. And I volunteer at her school.
Yeah.
you have a dog too. You also have a dog.
Peaches.
Peaches. But I have to be incredibly disciplined with it. There's no time to just sit around.
The discipline,
and
I think, is the necessary aspect that I think a lot of people are missing. And it's a thing that truthfully was really, really hard for me when I started my business, because most of us getting into creative fields have not had a roadmap for how to start a business, how to map out your day. Like, truthfully, the path to success for both myself, for you, for Tim, for all of the self-employed business owners that I know, has been, how do you spend your time? Literally, what do you do in the morning? And I write a lot. I have like a lot of journals, and I just pulled out like a notebook yesterday, because if you're on my newsletter, you saw that I sent out like a very dark newsletter. I think people were
dark.
like, is Lindsay okay?
I don't think it was dark.
It wasn't dark. I think it was the most honest I've been in a while.
Sure.
And the title of the newsletter was, I Lost the Plot. And And truthfully, it's just exactly how I felt. I felt like, oh, I fell off here. It reminded me of that Drake song, like, someone told me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that. Like, nobody told me I fell off. I told myself that. But I felt like I lost my discipline, and I think it came from I actually started earning more per hour than I was before, so I was able to work less, and that's not a good. I found myself in a weird space where I didn't need to work quite as much, and I really had lost some of my discipline. I'm filling my time with working out and with lots of other things, but my work, like my actual photography work, felt like I was lacking my own motivation, but the drive has always been there for me. So all I really figured out was like, I just have to go back to what my motivations are. What are my values? Why am I doing this? And why does something feel off? Why is there a shift in alignment for me? And no matter how disciplined you are, I'm sure you've had periods where you look back and you're like, that wasn't my best time. Like, for whatever reason, I had a lot of effort that had to go into a parent or a loved one or something. And so this had to come from there. And I think it's important we don't beat ourselves up too much over it, but the discipline is what gets us back in there. It gets you back in the game of how am I going to spend my days? Okay, I'm getting back to 6 a.m. workouts. I'm getting back to really clean eating. I'm going to get back to always emptying my inbox. Like, what are the things, the pillars or whatever that we need to? And so for you, like, do you have pillars in your mind where you put your focus of, like, obviously fitness is a big one, family.
I do think that, these are kind of my thoughts on it. I think a lot of people, what they do is they try to copy someone else's template for what worked for them and apply it to their own life. And I just don't think that works. I think you can pull little things out of it and say, well, that's an interesting thing to do. Maybe I should try that. Like, for instance, I've reclaimed a ton of my time where when I work out, I don't listen to music. I listen to audiobooks. I listen to like spiritual discipline. I listen to like podcasts.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that I might do later on in the day, but I'm like, well, I'm already working out. I might as well spend the hour and a half.
I've got something in my
Stack
ears.
it, baby.
So you just stack it. You're doubling up on it. And for a lot of people, they're like, well, like that's not going to work. Then don't do it. For me,
It's not for
works,
you.
but it's not for everyone. Getting up at 5 a.m., not for everyone. I'm not saying everyone should do it. I just know that if I don't get that work done before my daughter gets up, it's not happening. There's no time in the day.
And maybe it's not your favorite time of day to work up, but the payoff, which is I get to be there when Quinn wakes up and I'm not focused on, shit, I got to get this last set in, you know. You're not being pulled in two places. You're like, no, I get to be present with her when she gets up and maybe do breakfast or whatever it is, right?
And not everyone's favorite thing or thing they want to do is to work out. For me, what I love is when I finish the workout, I'm like, that was for sure the hardest thing I'll do all day. Like getting up and putting my feet on the floor and going to lift heavy weights is way harder than dealing with anything else. So it's already like I peaked at 6:30 and the rest of the day is like, let's just cruise. And it's, and so what are kind of the pillars of things that I try to get done? I'm always, the more disciplined I am with the training, the rest of my day falls into place. My energy levels are way more consistent. I can predict my eating better. Everything is just more more rhythmic, I guess. That's been a lot better. And then I know that I can carve out the time in the morning to be with Quinn, and then after school with Quinn, and then I sandwich in calls, meetings, ceremonies, and then when Quinn's going to bed, it's right back at it. Let's get more work done. Let's clean out the inbox as much as you can. Sometimes I'm doing calls way too late at night, but it's part of the deal. If you want to do a lot of things, you have to be willing to do the work. Most people aren't, and that's okay. At this point in my life, I'm excited about it, and I'm happy to continue to do the work.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think part of it for I think the photographers that are listening to this is knowing like how bad is the thing that you want. You know, when I was carving out yesterday in my journal about like, this is what I want to do. I feel like I didn't say this part, but I flipped back a couple of pages and I was like, I had used a different journal for a really long time. So I flipped back and I was back into 2022 and I'm like, holy shit, that was a goal that I had that I absolutely crushed years ago. And some of these things it's still a goal of mine that I haven't accomplished because it wasn't that big of a priority for me. Right. And A, not beating yourself up over things that aren't priorities, but B, giving yourself credit for the things that you have accomplished. So you're not just constantly moving the line and chasing a carrot that's like literally right in front of you that you're never going to be able to get to. Like give yourself a little bit of kudos for the work that you have done and where you've gotten in it. I think that's
a little pat on the back.
That's a big part of discipline too, is don't just burn yourself out thinking like, oh, well, I got to keep going. For me, a thing that works is like what I'm very motivated by, truthfully, is money. I really enjoy making a good, solid amount of money. Like not a normal amount of money, I guess, for a wedding photographer. I want to write down numbers that feel like laughable a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what I did a couple of days ago. I was like, well, what's the thing that's going to motivate me again? Just something stupid. So I'm just going to come up with like I want the wedding business to be making $250,000 a year, just the wedding side of my business. And I want the portrait side of the business to no longer be doing like $100K. I want it to be making almost the same amount as the wedding business. And that feels insane. But then you carve that out and you figure out what kind of numbers you have to be doing in order to do that. And it's just actually not that crazy.
You work backwards.
It sounds absolutely insane when you say it that way. But like, it's all possible, but then you have to decide, well, what level of bullshit am I willing to handle, and
how are you going to market yourself?
And
in a way
at the moment, that level
yeah.
of bullshit feels kind of fun to me, right? But I think if you're listening to this and you're like, that level of bullshit's absolutely not fun for me. I've got 3 kids and I've got whatever. That's okay. Like, figure out what your values are. And if it's that you really want more time with your family, well, then that goal is not the one that you want to be going on. You want to not be doing that. But I appreciate you sharing sort of those pillars, because I think, like you said, those pillars are going to be different for everybody, and figuring out what pieces of somebody's daily routine are that you want to do is very critical, but you got to pick and choose.
It's so different with sleep. I mean, some people work better late at night, some don't. From like playing enough high level sports, I also know, and in the back of my mind, I think about this, it translates into business as well, is there's always someone willing to work harder than you.
For sure.
And for me, that's huge motivation. When I'm working out first thing in the morning, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not letting anyone get the jump on me. Like,
No.
there's no way you're going to outwork me. And to me, that's
what
like
are you
my
going to do?
North
4
Star.
a.m., 3:30?
And then that's great if they want to.
One day I'm going to wake up at 3:30 and I'm
going to get up at 3. I need to get up in the middle of the night.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
You're going to get a ping. Lindsay finished a strength workout. Oh, did you? Interesting.
Jeff,
but it's good motivation for me to always think that I want to be the hardest worker in the room. I don't want anyone to say they're working harder. I don't want that to be true. So I'm happy to put in that level of work.
In this room, I can confirm you are definitely the hardest worker.
Dude.
No, I don't think that's the case.
And honestly, Tim and I work pretty hard, but
not that hard.
Not that hard. Not that I can confirm. Not that hard.
A few takeaways for photographers. We know you're incredible at marketing yourself as a luxury experience for people on their wedding days. Just to give again people some tidbits here. What advice do you give to people for when they're marketing themselves as the product? Because a lot of the times, as photographers, it's less about, I find these days, the photos you take. It's more about the experience you give to your couples. Whether that's portraits, whether that's weddings, whether that's elopements. You want to make sure that the thing you bring on the day is yourself in the best light possible. How do you market that, Jeff? How do you specifically market it? And do you have any advice for people watching, listening, enjoying the show? What do you do?
I loved what we've done of creating this brand and kind of saying, okay, here's the direction I want to go. And you just understood very quickly the assignment of what we're trying to do.
Hire me, I guess.
And so
for those of you who don't know, Tim and Jeff, if you're not following Hey Jeff Maeck, Maeck on Instagram, you've got to go and do that right now. But these two make some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And no, they do. They create some of the most hilarious and like just very entertaining, very watchable stuff, but also really, really solid and thoughtful and good content. Like, you've got a really good balance of personality and impact that you're putting together. There's a lot of Red Bull.
I think it's assembling the right team, and so you've always done the video for it, and you've always done the photos for it, and so that's kind of been the key to success for me, is finding who are the right people that understand what you're trying to build. And I spend a lot of time, because it's a personal brand. When you're hiring me, it's Jeff that's showing up.
Yeah.
All of my posts, it's tough because sometimes I look at my feed and I'm like, this looks like so narcissistic of just like photos of me, and it's tough not to get into
quite
that.
Literally, you're selling, hey, Jeff
But
Mack.
I'm selling me, and so what I see often, especially from photographers, like I understand there's a level of you need to showcase your work, but as I flip through my own feed as a non-photographer, all I see are the same type of photos over and over. I'm like, well, how do you differentiate if I don't ever see the face to connect to the photos?
Yeah.
And
it's actually crazy to me, the number of photographers that still, to this day, their bio photo on an Instagram account that is first name, last name photography is a wedding photo. Your bio should be yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, there's tons that their bio photo is a wedding photo. And
Even
I'm
if it's their wedding, don't do that.
I don't care if it's you in a wedding dress or a suit. I don't care. It doesn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever, or them with a camera in front of their face, or a very artistic and creative photo. And I don't care if your work is all shot on medium format and black and white.
See a lot of
Sorry, I'm just
AI
saying
now as
words
well.
now.
A lot of AI
But,
pictures. It's awful.
These are all criminal things. These are all strictly right to jail time.
Yeah.
Your face should be the first thing that people see when they come to your page. There's a reason why when you go to like the top booked vendors in your space, they see your face number one, front and center. They want to know who they're connecting with. Like your first photo, your first thing in your grid should be a hi, I'm so and so with a picture of you. Like it's a pinned photo of you always. There should that should be on everybody's feed, right? I'm like worrying about mine. No, I do have one. But that should be on all of them. And if every 9 posts there isn't a picture of you somewhere in there, if your BTS is the back of your head, or there, God forbid, there is no BTS and it's literally just a carousel of images with you're nowhere on it, your website barely has you on it, who will hire you?
Yeah. I was asked recently how, like, I put out lots of stuff, but it's always high quality. It's always professional. I don't post photos of like just silly things. It's very like thought out and curated, but it's always, so someone was saying, well, how do you always have stuff to post? Like, how do you have all these reels and these photos and this type of stuff?
So much effort.
And one of it is effort. Like, I have to think about it. And 2, I'm actually just posting the same categories all the time. It's me, it's my family, it's the business, it's Elopers & Co. It's the same things all the time. And I think they were kind of like, oh, I guess I didn't really think of that. They just thought of what are random things I can post. I'm like, it's actually thought out. Like,
Pillars of content.
When you're talking about the 9 things, there's actually similar amount of things that I'm like, okay, well, now I need to post a thing about blank because that's one of the things I do.
Yeah.
And
call to action at the end of them, right? It's like, okay, I'm spending time with my family and I was able to do that because I did XYZ. And if you're interested in XYZ, like, we're not just posting for funsies. I mean, it is fun, but it's a business.
It's a conversation that I have. I basically only spend time on Instagram, and the conversation starts there, it's on the website, and then it continues when I speak to them. It's the same language throughout. So it's actually not like a disjointed, like, oh, I saw a random post. Like, you will know a lot about me if you were to land on my Instagram and watch a couple things that I posted. And that continues the conversation on the phone because now they feel like they really know me.
100%.
And it skips this whole, like, ooh, let's try to get to know each other. They know me incredibly well, and I'm pretty good at getting to know people fast. And so that's a good match. And I think a lot of, again, I shouldn't speak too much on photographers, but
you can.
No, this is what it's for. We're here for
that. Honestly, you probably know more photographers than Tim and I do. Yeah. Like, truthfully, at least in our area, for sure.
Every time I see a photographer, I'm like, who is this person? I go to them, and I see followed by Jeff and Michelle. Like, oh, because they see, like, we meet, what, 1 or 2
I meet videographers who sometimes do photos. Yeah. So that's when I see other photographers and videographers that sometimes offer photo. Right? But, like,
we're siloed.
I do not meet other people in my area unless, like, I'm intentionally going to a networking event or I'm intentionally invited to a thing. Like, I'm not meeting them, but you would meet them all the time. So, yes, sorry to cut you off. You can speak to them.
No, it's okay. It's more because I want those calls to be as easy as humanly possible. And the way that I can do that is by posting enough personal stuff about me that they know me incredibly well, that they want me to be there. Okay, this is a dude that clearly values this stuff. He does this kind of work. He's, these are the things he values and believes and thinks. And by the time I get on a call, I'm not selling anything. It's just to say, like, hey, what's up? I'm Jeff. Let me tell you a bit about the process because you're probably curious about that, or how to book me. And then I like to, like, just chat with them and get to know, like, their general feel of, like, are we going to be a good fit? Like, the thing that I create, are you going to be happy with it? I want to make sure you are. And ultimately, I want to put myself in a position to always, like, knock it out of the park. I'm not looking to put myself in a spot where I don't think I'm the right guy to deliver what you're looking for. That's just not a good fit.
You're like, somehow something hasn't landed if you're getting into a call where somebody is not going with me, because I can't imagine a world in which you didn't feel like you already knew me, what I offered. Like, literally, it's all available there.
Yeah, I put enough hurdles out there that I force you to go through enough that by the time we jump on a call, you should know me pretty well, and you will know very quickly, am I the right dude or not? And if I'm not, that's okay, but generally they can establish that before we've hopped on a call.
I think that should be a really good takeaway for the photographers that are listening that are hesitant to put themselves and more of themselves into their branding and into their business. Because wouldn't that feel really good to go into a call and not really have to sell, right? Like, you're not really selling. The selling was done in the posts on Instagram, on the stories, on the BTS, on the incredible, like, you're really good at posting your reviews right away. It's a thing I need to get better at, because I get lots of really sweet emails and messages, and I'm not good at, like, immediately posting them. But in doing all of those things, it has allowed you to get to this point where you have a call and it's probably 20 minutes and you're like, cool, so we're doing this? Okay, I'll send over a contract. It's all done. The messaging's all predetermined in the contract. Like, it should all be quite automated by that point. So for you, if you're listening and you haven't been putting yourself into it, think about how good that feels. Because maybe it's not that you don't want, like, it's not that you don't want to put yourself out there. You're just not seeing the reason why. The reason why is so that you no longer have to work so freaking hard to compete with other photographers and videographers. The competition is gone because they're not looking for a photographer, they're looking for you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where you're at now. It's just you've created all of this content that maybe it feels narcissistic. I don't know. It doesn't look narcissistic from my side of things. It just looks like, damn, that guy's really good at branding.
Yeah.
Also, people follow influencers to talk about literally nothing all day long. So, like, literally nothing. Yeah. And you provide great information. You give educational content. You give, like, dressing in a great suit tips. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're offering really, really great advice for people. Again, a masterclass. I think if you're a photographer, you can go to his feed and figure out, how can I do something similar to this in my own area, right?
Yeah.
Like,
with your own voice, with your own perspective and your own values.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing, is just dialing into, like, who am I and how do I best portray that online versus, like, how do I just hop on yours and be like, well, Lindsay did this, and I'm just going to kind of, like,
100%. Very different from inspiration versus...
I see that very, very often where I'm like, this looks like you literally copied something.
A wish version of Jeff Maeck. I've seen a few of them.
Not to be clear, it's not who you are. Like, I'm, like, sitting like this on the couch eating Doritos. Someone that you want... The best version of yourself that you want people to hire. So not... Yeah. Don't be that guy.
Aspirational.
Yeah, maybe you're into that. Maybe it's like a whole thing.
And you could dial in.
A Dorito eating Coke.
Maybe it's a Florida thing. I don't know. Totally. Could be.
I love that. Jeff,
sorry, Florida.
Jeff, do you have any final little tidbits that you'd like to share with photographers? Any thoughts? Any...
What are we doing wrong?
Oh, okay.
What are we fucking up on a wedding day?
Oh my gosh.
What do you hate about us?
What can photographers do better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Tell us.
I think
he's going to be like this one time, this girl, Lindsay. No. She showed up to my ceremony and she was like, boom, you're the worst officiant of all time. Anyways, I don't know what I know where I'm going with this.
So whenever I go to a wedding day, we're on the same team. I'm like, hey, folks,
yes,
we're on the same team here.
Yes.
Like, I'm as much a part of the team as you're a part of the team, as the florist is, as the cake person. It doesn't matter who it is. The limo driver's son, he's all part of he's part of the team.
Of course he is.
They're definitely on the wedding day feels like there's some, it's not all, but some photographers try to take the lead in the hierarchy of, well, this is my day.
They're stepping into your ceremony space saying, this is my, they're peeing on it saying, this is my.
And you said, this is my box.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like, hey, you've been hired because you're excellent at that. I'm excellent at this. Like,
yes, let me do my
don't
thing.
actually need to tell me what you want me to do. I already know.
Let me cook.
And sometimes I'm like, do I look like the guy who doesn't? And it's okay that we don't know each other.
Do I look like the guy who's not going to step out of the shot? Do I look like the guy who's...
kind of forward photographers where I'm like, I may be very polite, very nice, very kind. But I'm like, it's okay. Jerk. I got it. Like, I know the key shots. I'm well aware of them.
Super aware. You will kind of want to shake their hand and be like, you don't know who I am.
And it's okay that we don't know
each other.
I'm
going to blow your goddamn mind.
You're going to walk in, flip the mic, literally, as you're walking down the aisle, and they're going to be like, oh no, what did I do here? This
You're
is
going to get 20 seconds of sustained eye contact from the couple mid-ceremony.
Yeah.
You excited for that?
Are you excited? Cool. Yeah.
And it's fine because I'm nobody. It doesn't matter of like, oh, you don't know, you're not familiar with my work or whatever. And oftentimes at the end, they're like, dude, that was really, and it's nice and refreshing to get like, dude, that was really good. I'm like, I know, I obsess with it.
You like people to be shocked at how good you are.
I do like shocking them. But then I think, okay, for the person who hasn't done this as long as I have, how are they making them feel?
That's so mean.
Imagine you've done 4 or 5 ceremonies and the photographer's like, hey, do this, don't do that.
Hey, dummy. Yeah.
They're already nervous to go perform the ceremony, and now you just put them in a spot where they're second guessing every movement. I'm like, man, how are they possibly going to focus and deliver something great? And to me, that's a problem because they've been hired to do a thing, everyone's at a different stage in their journey of figuring this thing out. Even photographers when they're brand new.
Yeah.
Look, we're all here to help create the best possible experience. Let's just do it together.
Yeah.
And so I still see that a little bit. It's less and less, but I worry mostly for the newer officiants where, if speaking in front of a group was an easy thing to do, everyone would be an officiant.
Of
It's
course.
hard to do. It's hard to do well. And for someone who's new, there's just a lot going through their head. And
Somebody comes in
if
with
you can
bad
be nice,
vibes.
if you can just encourage them and be like, man, this is going to be great.
You're gonna do an awesome job.
You're going to knock this out of the park. We're going to have a ton of fun. And then after a ceremony, tell them they did a good job. I tell everyone at the end of a ceremony, dude, you're so good playing violin. You're so good on being the DJ. You're so, man, you look like you did a great job with photos. Because it's a nice thing to say.
Of course.
And people don't generally say... compliment people. I'm like, why not? Why don't we do that?
Like we talk about this all the time, that sometimes the only thanks we get is the credit card payment going through, and that's it, right? Like sometimes we don't hear from people. So photographers, you know how bad that feels to send off a gallery and not hear from anybody.
Crickets.
First of all, I've never had that with you. You always respond, send me a text message. This is the greatest gallery you've ever delivered. And I'm like, wow, I must get better once a week. This is amazing. But that level really also endears people towards you, right?
Yeah.
Like instead of, I have some officiants that I'll send them galleries and I never hear back, and I'm like, oh cool, it's all over your website, but by all means, you're welcome for that.
Yep.
Right,
It goes both ways, right? Everybody, we're all just out here trying to make a really fun thing happen for our clients and have a really good day. Sometimes those days are hard. And sometimes we have shown up after a really tough getting ready, morning or chaotic family photos before the ceremony. Something has gone awry.
Yeah.
So showing up in the ceremony and clean slating it, I think is a really, I think that's a great thing to do. Come in and be like, hey, I'm excited. You're going to do a great job. Let me know what you need from me as far as do you want me to not stand somewhere? Are they doing anything weird? They're going to do some weird sand ceremony I'm not aware of. They're hand fasting.
I just think it's better for everyone, whether it's in this business or just in the streets, it doesn't matter. Encouraging people at all times is just a better way to live.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if I'm getting a coffee, I'm like, man, you're so polite. Thank you so much for doing that. And that is a way of instantly changing someone's demeanor, and we should just bring that into the wedding space for everything, especially the really thankless roles of the people who nobody sees, whether it's hair and makeup
The
doesn't
limo
see
driver's
anybody.
son.
The limo driver son doesn't see anyone.
Yeah.
And so I really try to go out of my way and shoot messages on Instagram too, and just say, hey, so sorry I didn't get to say bye to you, but you killed it. That was awesome. That's enough, and I mean it.
Yes.
So I'm not just doing it. I actually mean it. But I also know that sometimes this role is pretty lonely, and if we're not encouraging each other, you can leave there and say, was I any good? Did anyone like that?
Yeah.
The vibes were so off.
And that's tough.
And maybe if your couple, they are still anxious or whatever, so maybe they're not giving you that feedback.
Yeah.
It's so important for the team that is used to seeing ceremonies to say, hey, that was really exceptional.
Yeah.
You might not have gotten that energy from them, I'm feeling the vibes are a little off here, whatever. For us to be able to do that for each other, we are our own little conglomerate,
Sure.
we have really we have made our own network of people, and it's intentional. It's fully intentional. This didn't happen by chance. We were you have goals that align with my goals. Let's do these things. It's part of the reason why I really love doing your photos, because I'm I get the vision. When you first said, hey, do you want to do some fitness photos? Is that weird? And I'm no, because I totally get the vision, and here's how I think it's marketable, and here's how I think it aligns. And you're yes. It's nice when we can all do nice things together.
Yeah, and then
for sure,
on the video side of things, you're I like Arrested Development, I like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, all these different references. I'm I get these references, and you're a funny guy. I'm okay, cool. We can be funny together and make some weird shit, and we have.
Yeah,
it's been great.
And I think it's helpful to show up and one, be myself, and then two, off camera, you guys can encourage more of the stuff behind the camera that gets more of it out, and so it becomes super easy for me to create stuff because you guys are just letting me be me. There's no real direction. You're just kind of be you, and then when I put that out, that's way more authentic. People they see a different side of me that you wouldn't see if I'm doing awkward poses or something. You just let me do my thing, and you figure out how best to capture it. And that's been a massive leap for me, because it's probably been 4 or 5 years that we've been
2019, 2020.
2019 we started our first video, and you've been doing photos for us since
Quinn was a baby.
No idea.
Right?
Way before that. Yeah, you did our
Their
5-year anniversary.
and your announcement.
Oh my God,
photos,
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I did their announcement photos. I was like
Yep.
crying the whole time, to be honest with you, because I knew it was such a journey for you guys to
Yeah.
get there. And I, like very witchy, predicted that they're going to have a baby girl.
Yeah.
Because
You were one of the first people that knew, actually, I
Michelle
think.
was like, you know, she had given me some insight into the journey to getting pregnant, and I was like, I'm going to pull a tarot card for you. And that night I pulled a tarot card, and I was like, it's leading towards feminine energy. I think you're going to have a baby girl. And like literally a month or so later, she was like, oh my gosh, it actually worked. Not the tarot, the IVF.
Mostly IVF, yeah.
I love that. No, it's been honestly so fun to see you grow and to
Yeah.
see you go from like, you've always been exceptional, always working hard, but to like really fall into this alignment. And we appreciate you being here and sharing
Well, thank you,
said
guys. Thank you.
alignment and inspiration with all of the photographers out there.
Jeff, if you have anywhere you want people to go, should you wish to be found on the internet or otherwise, please let them know now.
Yeah, man, easiest place to find me is Hey Jeff Maeck on Instagram. That's probably the best place to learn most about me. And
All the things are there.
Linktree,
You'll
baby.
find everything
yeah,
on there.
it's all
Yeah,
there.
all the things
Everything.
are there. The tube, the education. You want to become an officiant. It's hailing outside.
Tailing outside, it's raining.
what's going on out
It's
there?
actually hailing. I think that's what's
grief.
going on there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really crazy.
We're going to go make sure
The
everything's okay.
apocalypse.
Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Hasta mañana.
Thanks for having me here, guys.